Waking from the depths, a crushing headache greets him as he stares at his reflection. Who is this handsome stranger? The onlookers think he's truly lost his mind now. He is 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕, the disgraced fourth son of the legendary Heavenly Dragon Convoy Agency. Born to a lowly maid, he was mocked as a talentless fool in both brains and brawn. Alone and orphaned, the family discarded him like useless trash after his mother's passing. A red light district regular, he even attempted suicide over a girl marrying his brother. But wait, those events happened 30 years ago. This isn't the pathetic young master anymore. Inside this body resides a veteran porter captain, a man forged in blood and steel. During a brutal ambush, he stood his ground, despite a shattered leg, to save his comrades. "Let them go, or we all burn together," he roared, clutching a deadly explosive. Trembling at the sight of the bomb, the bandit leader was forced to retreat. His men escaped, but the captain paid the price. His arm was ruthlessly severed. A blade pierced his back. "A cripple can change nothing," the enemy sneered. Fatal mistake. The bomb was in his right hand. One massive blast ended it all. Death seemed certain, yet he awakens inside the shell of the weak fourth son. His father, the iron-fisted Lee Dong-san, summons him after the failed suicide attempt. Dying for a woman is the height of stupidity, the king of convoys barked. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 smirks. "I just slipped. With this face, why would I ever end it?" A dagger flies past his head, a cold warning from a father who demands strength. "A tiger that won't fight is just a pathetic house cat," the old man hissed. "If you truly want to die, use this blade. Do it with dignity. I'll even give you a grand funeral." 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 shivers, but his spirit remains unbroken. 20 years, and this is the first gift you've ever given me? Father, a tool for my own death? The king flinches at his son's sudden sharp wit. Years of neglect and coldness are finally being challenged by this new, piercing gaze. "I'll make sure you remember this day forever," 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 declares, shocking his father. The cowardly boy is gone. A fierce warrior has taken his place, demanding respect. Allowance cut? Fine. This is the perfect chance for a legendary comeback story. Outside, the bravado fades. He collapses, heart racing from the brush with death. His servant is horrified, thinking the master was scolded into a state of paralysis. He tests his legs. After 50 years as a cripple, walking feels like pure magic. "I'm going to become a convoy master," he announces, shocking his loyal attendant. The servant laughs. "You? A master? You don't even know basic martial arts. Even I could beat you in a duel, young master. Please, stop talking nonsense." But 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 isn't aiming for brute force. He wants the Jurin Scholar title, a high-ranking scholar official who provides the political shield for the family agency. Today is the regional exam, the first step to securing the Heavenly Dragon's future. As he arrives, every girl's heart flutters. His looks are truly on another level. No more being a lonely bachelor. This new life is already looking quite promising. His secret weapon? In his past life, he copied every single national exam record. He memorized every answer to the upcoming tests, a literal cheat code for success. Why stop at passing? He's aiming for the top of the scholar rankings. The exam begins. He writes with flawless precision, blending past knowledge with his own. He even stops to help a panicked student who brought the wrong writing tools. Effortlessly, he finishes the test first, leaving everyone stunned by his hidden brilliance. The servant sighed, convinced his master was all talk. Seeing him leave so early, he assumed the weakling had failed again. Their stomachs were empty, so the loyal servant used his meager savings. They settled for 2 bowls of steaming noodles. They inhaled the noodles and dumplings before heading to Beyond Restaurant. Unfortunately, every single table was already occupied. It turned out the third brother had reserved the entire floor for his cronies. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 tried to lead 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔 away quietly. Suddenly, a massive armored captain blocked their path. On the third master's orders, he forced 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 to join the party. Wanting to avoid a scene, he reluctantly followed. Upstairs, he spotted a woman whose beauty was truly otherworldly. She was a legendary beauty of Hangzhou, linked to the original 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's fate. There sat 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕, the arrogant third master. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 intended to humiliate his idiot brother to impress the ladies. He smirked, ready to put on a cruel show. While a girl named Ram Bong flirted with him, 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's gaze was locked. He couldn't look away from the raven-haired maiden. She was so stunning he was already naming their future children. Meanwhile, the third brother began barking insults like a dog. He called 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 a family failure and a gambling addict. To him, his brother was nothing but a pathetic stain. Jealousy consumed him because 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 was tall and handsome. He looked like a common toad compared to the youngest brother. Jung Ran tried to leave to avoid trouble, but Rambong stopped him. She insisted he eat something before he departed. Still hungry for humiliation, the third brother tossed a chicken leg into his bowl. "Eat our scraps, trash," he sneered. Surprisingly, Jung Ran accepted the meat with a smile. He sat down right in front of the beautiful, dark-haired woman. "If you aren't embarrassed, then the others will be." The pretentious nobles began reciting poetry to prove their superior intellect. They tried to mock the idiot for his lack of culture. Little did they know, they were walking into a trap. Jung Ran spoke with such brilliance that the entire room froze. Could this truly be the town's most famous fool? He dismantled their arguments with flawless logic, silencing the room. The raven-haired girl burst into a fit of genuine laughter. She was laughing directly at the group's staggering ignorance. Jung Ran grew curious about this mysterious and captivating woman. She placed a mole on her nose, and he remembered her instantly. She was the scholar from the previous civil exam. She introduced herself as 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕. She was the current head of the prestigious and legendary 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕 clan. Her grandfather was the great Thunder Sword hero. The 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕 family held absolute power over the entire Yangzhou region. With her brother being a world-renowned sword prodigy, Jung Ran saw a perfect chance to build a powerful connection. 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕 tested him with sharp questions. Jung Ran used his past life expertise to provide the perfect, profound answers. She realized the rumors were all lies. He wasn't a fool at all, but a man of incredible hidden intelligence. The third brother was absolutely fuming. He had paid for the party only to become the evening's biggest laughingstock. Being surpassed by the family idiot made his blood boil. He began aggressively questioning Jung Ran about his sudden change. "What did you eat to act so crazy?" he barked. Jung Ran smirked. "I just ate your leftovers, dear brother." Enraged, the brother insulted Jung Ran's mother's low birth. That was the spark that ignited Jung Ran's sleeping fury. Jung Ran mocked him for being a concubine's son. The third brother lost all control and lunged to smash his face. Suddenly, Jung Ran perceived the attack in slow motion. Even though the brother punched wildly, his movements felt incredibly sluggish. He dodged effortlessly and landed a sharp counterblow. The third brother recoiled in shock and agonizing pain. Choking on rage, the brother attempted a wrestling maneuver. Jung Ran predicted it and casually tripped him with a plate. The brother crashed onto the floor. Jung Ran was confused. How could he see a first-class warrior's move so clearly? This body was supposed to be untalented trash. Yet, he was outclassing a trained fighter without even trying. The brother charged again, but Jung Ran took a few hits on purpose. He wanted to look like the victim. Onlookers rushed over, seeing what looked like the elder brother bullying the weak youngest sibling. The plan worked perfectly. 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕 scolded the bully before walking away. The third brother chased after her, failing to salvage his reputation. Jung Ran stood up unhurt and asked Jiang Sam a question. He wondered if he had ever learned any martial arts. It happened briefly at age 12, but every master gave up. They all claimed his body was completely hopeless trash. Suddenly, Jung Ran snatched 3 flies out of the air instantly. The servant stared, unable to believe his own eyes. Time seemed to drag, making everyone's speech sound slow. But then, a terrifying heat began to consume his entire body. He felt like he was burning from the inside out. No amount of water could quench the fire raging in his veins. His clothes began to smoke as glowing symbols appeared on his skin. Then, as quickly as they appeared, they vanished. The ancient energy surged through his veins. Jung Ran realized this was the mysterious scroll from his final suicide mission. Against those bandits in his past life, the ancient runes had somehow etched themselves onto his very soul. This power could manipulate time itself. A wicked grin spread across his face. The ultimate cheat was finally his. Fortune had finally favored him. But Jiang Sam interrupted his joy, reminding him of the family dinner tomorrow, the 15th. Every young master was summoned to the Tiger King's mansion. The thought of facing that terrifying old man chilled him. That night, the atmosphere was suffocating. Jung Ran struggled to act like his usual, pathetic self during the feast. He felt like a lone lamb trapped in a den of wolves and tigers, waiting to be devoured at any moment. His third brother's wedding was postponed, and the man looked ready to murder someone in his blind rage. The eldest brother suddenly spoke up, suggesting Jung Ran should finally start helping with the family's mercenary business. The air grew thick with suspicion. The second brother scoffed, questioning why the eldest suddenly cared about their trash brother. As the brothers bickered to impress their father, the Tiger King slammed the table. demanding absolute silence. Just then, the Hangzhou magistrate arrived. He carried the results of the prestigious civil service imperial examination. The third brother, who had also taken the test, began gloating. He was certain he had secured a top spot. Laughing like a madman, he led everyone outside to meet the magistrate and claim his supposed glory. The official prepared to announce the victors. Suddenly, all eyes turned toward Yungrong in utter disbelief and shock. Could the family loser really have ranked? Meanwhile, the arrogant brother smirked, waiting for his father's long-awaited praise. A celebratory banquet table was prepared for the winner. Byung-rong stepped forward with sickening confidence. He dreamed of a successful marriage and power. But as the announcement rang out, his world instantly shattered. The top scholar of the entire province was Yungrong. The crowd froze as if time had truly stopped. Jaws dropped in pure shock. Byung-rong looked like a total fool, wishing the earth would swallow him whole. Yungrong calmly walked forward to claim his prize. He expected this, yet the victory felt incredibly sweet. This was his chance, a new path toward becoming the legendary warrior he had failed to be before. Suddenly, the Tiger King exploded with killing intent. He lunged toward the magistrate, his voice booming with rage. "Are you mocking me?" He suspected the official had rigged the results just to flatter the family name. Yungrong is a brainless brat. How could he possibly be the top scholar? No one could believe it. The trembling magistrate swore on his life. These results were untainted and achieved through absolute merit alone. He presented Yungrong's exam paper. As the Tiger King read, his eyes widened at the impossible reality. The essay contained profound insights and sharp observations that pierced through the very fabric of society. How could a fool write such brilliant prose? The Tiger King began to laugh hysterically at the miracle. His youngest son was a genius. Meanwhile, the third brother barely scraped 200th place through his mother's schemes. Both were heading to the provincial finals in 1 month. The magistrate announced the news with immense fervor. To please the king, 10,000 posters would be plastered everywhere, declaring Yungrong's legendary academic feat. Rewards of heavy gold were bestowed upon the official. Within days, the family mansion was flooded with guests. They flocked to congratulate the third brother, ignoring the true winner. But Yungrong didn't give a damn. He focused on his training, uncovering the hidden laws governing his newfound ability to slow down time. Extreme stress triggered the power, but it only lasted for 10 heart-pounding breaths at a time. Moving slowly helped him sync with the flow. Now, he needed true martial arts to harness this lethal edge. He started with grueling physical conditioning. Poor Jiang Sam was dragged along for the torturous daily runs. Gasping for air, the servant collapsed in exhaustion. He couldn't believe his master's sudden, insane drive. The young master had changed. No more brothels or sleeping late, only the burning desire to grow stronger. The next day, he headed to the government office to claim his official scholar's badge and travel permits. Along with his title, he was gifted mounds of premium silk, a reward fit for the top scholar. He immediately sold the silk for 20 silver pieces, ready to enjoy a well-deserved, lavish feast. After stuffing themselves, he bought Jiang Sam new clothes to celebrate. His generosity knew no bounds today. He tossed his last 2 coins to a beggar. According to his past memories, tonight was when everything would change. A high-stakes mission is announced at the ceremony. But tragedy looms, everyone is destined to die. A mysterious warrior will ambush them shortly after departure. The Heavenly Dragon Agency faces total annihilation. Haunted by his past life's fallen friends, Yungrong vows to stop this bloody massacre. He must halt the mission at all costs. Suddenly, he spots Lady Namgung in a clumsy disguise. He teases her immediately. Your mole moved from left to right. That's quite suspicious, isn't it? Cornered, she reveals her secret. She wants to learn his scholarly ways to become a top student. She's been waiting all day to learn from him. Yungrong tries to ditch her, but his father appears. Needing a way into the ceremony, he asks Lady Namgung for a favor. They slip into the night ceremony together. Midnight passes, and tension fills the silent air. Just as things end, a chilling bell toll shatters the silence. The atmosphere instantly freezes. Even the escort king panics as the ominous sound echoes. This is the cursed past mission. They must escort restless Jiangxi back to their sects. Yungrong prepares to object immediately, but his third brother beats him to it, slamming the table in protest against this mission. Lady Namgung whispers, "It's a free job. Why not just refuse? Why is everyone so terrified?" Yungrong explains their ironclad honor. The Heavenly Dragon Agency never turns its back on duty. Escorting fallen heroes is our sacred tradition. He doesn't realize every master in the room is eavesdropping. Without them, there is no country. Without a country, there is no agency. He declares boldly. Moved by his son's words, the king accepts. The mission is assigned to the elite unit. Realizing he accidentally sealed their fate, 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 decides he must join to prevent the tragedy. His father explodes. You should be a local official, not a lowly escort risking your neck. But the trash noble is gone. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 declares his dream. To become a true warrior, he remembers his past life's regrets. This time, he will hold the sword with pride. If you pass the exams, you'll be a local official. Why throw it all away now? 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 doesn't hesitate. He nods firmly. His heart is set on the path of the sword. He recalls the legends of the escort king. Every great warrior started with a single blade. Finally, his father relents. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 will join the mission as a support member. He will be under Leader Jiang's command. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's heart soars. His dream is finally real. His past and present desires finally align. But then, another voice rings out. Take me too. Lady Namgung raises her hand, shocking everyone. A heated debate breaks out over her involvement. She stakes her reputation on a secret shortcut to finish the mission early. They accept. The team departs. The escort king discusses 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's sudden transformation with leader Xiao-san. He worries about the hardships his son will face on this path of blood and steel. Perhaps he wants to walk in your footsteps, Xiao-san suggests. Let fate decide his path. They leave his destiny to the heavens. But the king is still wary of Lady Namgung. He assigns a seasoned veteran to shadow the team and protect 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 from the shadows. This newcomer is a monster who crushed every senior instructor. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's protection is guaranteed. Meanwhile, his brothers are seething with confusion. Why would he choose the sword over exams? He's just running away because he knows he'll fail. The third brother sneers in contempt. The second brother snaps back, mocking him for bribing his own way through the previous exams. The third brother is silenced by the truth. Then, the eldest brother speaks up with gravity. Father has changed his mind. He's gifting the legendary bluestone blade to our youngest brother. The eldest brother is wary. This useless sprout is growing into a tree that might overshadow us. On the road, 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 struggles. He can't ride a horse and gets mocked by everyone. He bribes Lady Namgung with wine and food for lessons. Finally, he starts to learn. Suddenly, she smacks his horse's rump. Go! The horse bolts, and 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕's screams echo. Under extreme pressure, his hidden potential finally awakened. The legendary cheat mode flickered to life. He synchronized with the beast, mastering the reins instantly. Namgung watched in awe at his impossible growth. Naturally, he began to boast with his usual arrogance. Flustered, Namgung suddenly asked about his feelings for the lady. This girl must be under some kind of spell. Using his second life wisdom, he lectured her on true love. He coldly declared he had zero interest in Lady Dojambong. He only promised a brief future meeting out of courtesy. Namgung's face turned crimson as she quickly changed the subject. She asked to see the secret books he used for the exams. He feigned ignorance, knowing the truth would expose his secrets. Revealing his past life knowledge would surely cause a massive disaster. I recall that steel-tipped brush you brought to the hall. My memory might return if you teach me about pressure points. If you refuse to share your secrets, then forget it. I'll simply lose all memory regarding the provincial examination results. She reluctantly agreed, though she felt completely played by him. Little did she know, she was falling for his pace. Suddenly, escort leader Jiang ordered the entire caravan to halt. He despised being under 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 and sought to humiliate him. He issued a condescending challenge to test the young noble's wit. Failure meant 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 would become a lowly, stable hand. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 accepted, raising the stakes with a daring counterbet. The arrogant leader had no idea he was facing a regressor. He answered with effortless grace, leaving the leader completely stunned. The bully ended up swallowing his own bitter medicine. They reached the treacherous Jiangsa Valley as a voice echoed. A familiar face from the past appeared before the group. It was the infamous bandit chief, the legendary Fireblade. Fate had brought these two opposing forces together in the canyon. Heavy rains flooded the river, forcing everyone to stall. Bandits and escorts were forced to share a tense campsite. 𝒂𝒓𝒂𝒔𝒕 sat with Namgung, but his senses were screaming. Something felt incredibly wrong about this sudden, forced hospitality. The bandit chief was eyeing them like a predator hunting prey. Suddenly, Jiang Rang approached with a wicked, calculated smile. He proposed a traditional duel between the two factions' newcomers. The bandits' strongest recruit stepped forward, eyeing their group maliciously. They specifically targeted Namgung, demanding she accept the challenge. Refusal meant an all-out war would break out immediately. It was a trap designed to force Yung Rion's hand. They feared his hidden strength and sought to weaken his allies. This was clearly the third brother's scheme to eliminate him. A shadow play orchestrated to bury the trash noble forever. Yung Rion stood up, volunteering to fight in Namgung's place. This was exactly the opening the villains were waiting for. His hidden guard tried to intervene, but Yung Rion refused. My word is final, back down and watch the show. He stepped into the bandit camp with chilling confidence. Listen well, Leader Jiang. Let us clarify the rules. This isn't just a ritual. It's my formal debut. Therefore, I will be the one choosing my own opponent. He turned to Jiang Rang with a sharp, mocking glint. You love gambling, don't you? Let's make this interesting. If I lose, I leave. But if I win, I lead this entire escort for the next 3 days. He pointed directly at the largest, most terrifying brute present. The crowd erupted in mockery, certain the noble was suicidal. His opponent was the Ox Devil King, a literal mountain. Yung Rion played the weakling, dancing around the giant's strikes. As the brute lunged for a finishing blow, he slipped. Yung Rion drove a devastating knee directly into his jaw. The giant collapsed instantly, silenced by a single, perfect strike. Silence fell as the crowd looked on in absolute terror. With the victory secured, he officially seized command of everyone. His first order was a shock that no one expected. Every elite escort was ordered to walk on foot. Instead, the exhausted porters were told to mount the horses. He commanded the warriors to teach the workers how to ride. In this world, mobility is the only key to survival. The next day, a new group of shadows blocked their path. It was the notorious Great Dragon pirate crew, ruling the waters. Their leader stepped forward, greeting Leader Jiang with fake warmth. He claimed this territory now belonged solely to the pirates. A territorial war was brewing between the mountains and sea. To pass, the caravan would have to pay a steep price. Bandits and pirates began a fierce war of words and threats. Neither side was willing to back down from the riches. The caravan was trapped between two hungry packs of wolves. Yung Rion decided to use his past life knowledge to settle this. He summoned both leaders, projecting an aura of absolute authority. Namgung, hand me those 2 bags of gold right now. 100 gold pieces, that is the final offer from Heavenly Dragon. We don't care who rules this valley or your petty wars. Our time is far more valuable than your territorial disputes. Take the gold and secure our safe passage across this river. He tossed the coins, forcing the greedy leaders to choose. The trash noble was now the one pulling all the strings. 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒆𝒓's son barked a warning, claiming the raging river was impassable until tomorrow's tides receded. Seizing the opportunity, Yung Rion offered an immediate crossing, forcing a deal with the desperate escort leader. As gold changed hands, 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒆𝒓's son erupted in fury, severing all ties with the Heavenly Dragon Bureau. The bandits retreated into the mountains, but Yung Rion simply smirked, knowing incompetence would always be discarded. Just as in his past life, fate struck when the bridge splintered and collapsed under the heavy cargo. Stepping forward, Yung Rion coldly reminded 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄 that he was responsible for their passage today. With no choice left, 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄 listened as Yung Rion proposed a cunning plan to bridge the river. He ordered the ships aligned, forming a makeshift wooden path to conquer the treacherous, swirling currents. However, timber was scarce, requiring a dangerous trek into the forest ruled by the vengeful 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄's son. Yung Rion demanded the escort funds back to deal with the bandits, leaving 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄 no room to argue. Not only did he reclaim the gold, but he also squeezed 50 more taels for the damaged carriage. Upon the peak, 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄's son snarled, warning that no intruder would leave his domain alive today. Facing their blades, Yung Rion questioned if they truly intended to murder the man who saved them. He mocked their bandit honor, refusing to believe they could be this ungrateful toward their benefactor. Revealing his foresight, he showed them how to fortify the river path against the next devastating flood. By controlling the waters, they would prevent the Kulong fort from ever seizing their ancestral territory. He challenged their logic, knowing the fort soldiers feared a direct confrontation on solid ground. Yung Rion lamented his efforts as they pointed their cold, sharpened steel at his very heart. Shaken by the truth, 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒄's son roared for his men to lower their weapons immediately. A grave misunderstanding has occurred, the bandit leader admitted. bowing in a deep, humble apology. 𝒂💉 moved quickly, organizing the timber needed to ferry the remaining carriages across the river. Captivated by his wisdom, the bandits joined forces with the escort team to complete the task. Refusing payment, the bandit leader instead gifted him a rare and deadly vial of mountain poison. Having pocketed the profits, 𝒂💉 bribed 𝒂💂 with a mount to keep his mouth shut. He even ensured Lady 𝒂💂 finally received the luxury of a warm bath and much-needed rest. Beyond the valley, the convoy finally reached the bustling city gates of Duangqiao. After delivering the silk, only 9 jiangshi remained for the final trek toward 𝒂💉 Mountain. Seeking speed, 𝒂💂 proposed a shortcut through the ominous shadows of the Dangdai forest. This path promised to shave 2 days off their journey, despite the lurking dangers within. The elder recoiled in terror, warning of the demonic 𝒂💉 sect that haunted those woods. They were known as hunters of men, serving a nameless god with absolute, bloodthirsty devotion. Yet, 𝒂💂 remained unfazed, claiming her family's reputation alone would act as a divine shield. As dusk settled, she hinted that even the most vicious demons feared the power of her lineage. 𝒂💉 calculated his progress, knowing he was now a full day ahead of his previous life. Braving this forest would grant him a 2-day advantage over the tragic fate he once knew. In his memories, a legendary assassin was destined to slaughter everyone at the mountain's base. Though the timeline had shifted, he remained vigilant, knowing the shadow of death still loomed near. He divided the group into squads, personally joining the night patrol to keep everyone alert. After checking the men, he thanked Elder Zhang for trusting a foolish rookie like himself. By the campfire, they whispered of the Earth Spirit, a mythical entity of unimaginable power. Legend told of a 1,000-year-old earthworm that emerged only under the glow of the full moon. For any martial master, consuming its essence meant the power to rewrite the world's hierarchy. After a history of bloodshed, the spirit allegedly fell into the hands of a terrifying great demon. This was the same monster the Maoshan priests had long feared in their darkest legends. That demonic entity now lay hidden, lurking deep within the mist of 𝒂💉 Mountain. The monster lurked there, sacrificing souls to the spirits until warriors stood against his bloody, cruel reign. Most perished in the fray. Crippled, the great devil retreated deep into the immortal peak's darkest shadows. Both sects cast a divine net, sealing him away. He only ever lost once to the Namgung Patriarch. Lord Namgung Yuan's legendary strike left a jagged lightning scar forever etched upon the devil's wicked face. Boom! The carriage shatters as a pale hand emerges. Where is this? The undead creature growls deeply. A talking corpse? This is madness. Quick! Activate the suppression formation before it is far too late. Their efforts were futile. The beast seized the commanders by their throats, crushing their every hope. 𝒂💉's sharp eyes did not flicker. In moments, he deduced the monster's terrifying and true identity. "You're no zombie," he declared. "You're the great devil Hua Du." The crowd gasped in pure horror. Even the ancient monster was stunned. How could a mere boy recognize his legendary and feared name? "Who are you?" the devil hissed. Thus, a lethal game of psychological warfare had finally begun today. 𝒂💉 dissected his tactics. Realizing the creature had played them all by faking his own death, the devil erupted in dark laughter. "Impressive! I fooled many masters, yet you see right through me? Countless warriors perished in my trap, yet you, a mere servant, have unmasked my true demonic form." Tearing off his disguise, the devil revealed his face just as 𝒂💉 fired a signal flare. "What have you done?" the devil shrieked. 𝒂💉's laugh echoed through the dark and silent forest. "The net is closing. Within 30 minutes, 30 legendary sects will swarm this very mountain for you." "I'll kill you!" the devil roared. But 𝒂💉 countered, offering a desperate path to freedom instead. "Die here or let me save you," 𝒂💉 challenged. The monster froze, baffled by the offer. "You set a trap to catch me, yet now you offer salvation? What game are you playing?" "My price is half the celestial essence," 𝒂💉 demanded. The devil's wicked laughter shook the trees. "You claimed your services were free, yet here you are, extorting an ancient demon for supreme power. Fine, little master. If you guide me safely, I shall grant you half of the divine energy." However, the devil growled, pointing at the survivors. "Every last one of these ants must perish now. Touch them and the secret dies with me," 𝒂💉 shouted, shielding his comrades with pure defiance. As the devil lunged, Lady Namgung stepped forward, shedding her disguise and drawing her shimmering blade. "I am the granddaughter of the lightning sword," she cried, her aura exploding with noble, heavenly power. A woman? The group stood frozen. Recognizing her lineage, the devil granted them 10 minutes to flee. Leave now or die. Vowing to kill them all, he dragged the captives into the deep wilderness. 4 grueling days passed. Starving and weary, they wandered through the rugged peaks under his watch. Lugging a heavy corpse, 𝒂𝒔𝒉 cursed, dreaming of the day he'd end this monster's miserable life. They found refuge in a cold cave where 𝒂𝒔𝒉 prepared a humble meal of wild game. Forgive my deception, Namgung whispered. But 𝒂𝒔𝒉 smiled, admitting he'd known her secret for ages. I recognized you at the inn, he confessed. But back then, I didn't think we'd be allies. We are comrades now. Let the past rest. Secretly, he slipped a toxin into the devil's bowl. The devil sensed the trap and sneered. He reached into his puppet, pulling out the glowing essence. Granddaughter of my rival. Eh? He chuckled. Once I consume this, even your grandfather cannot stop me. I'll offer your head to the lightning sword. With a flick, he sealed her pressure points instantly. He prepared to force the essence down her throat. But 𝒂𝒔𝒉 lunged with a hidden blade. The devil easily deflected the strike. Your body is stronger. You shall be my divine vessel instead. He gripped 𝒂𝒔𝒉's jaw, forcing the blazing celestial essence down his throat with a cruel laugh. Take it all. Why the agony? Isn't this the divine strength you craved, you pathetic little worm? He sacrificed him to the heavenly spirit. Sensing a perfect vessel, he lunged, forcing the boy's mouth wide open. He shoved the divine essence down his throat. You wanted half? The madman cackled. Then take the whole thing. I've given you everything. Why the agony? He tried to finish him off, but couldn't touch the royal family. Unbeknownst to the beast, his wine was laced with lethal toxins. A single gulp, and he spat out a fountain of gore. Curse you, brat! He roared, desperately circulating internal energy. Seeing him struggle, our hero suppressed his own agony. He stepped forward, mocking the demon to break his focus. The lightning sword would have ended you in 10 strikes, right? The venom you drank is the Kunshan snake's deadliest brew. They say 7 steps are all a man gets before death. Will the sword or the venom claim your soul first? Suddenly, a terrifying heat began incinerating the main character's insides. A massive surge of inner power erupted, threatening to turn his organs to ash. It was a violent awakening. Is this the yang energy from the scripture of virtue? The ancient text from his past life was literally branding his soul. This celestial light clashed violently against the earth spirit's frozen chill. The excruciating pain plunged him into darkness. He awoke to Namgung's side, while the demon sat eerily still. Suddenly, the monster's hand twitched with life. The boy lunged to deliver the final blow, but was sent flying by a devastating counterpunch. The demon still breathed. How are you alive after consuming that cursed spirit? The villain growled. The heaven and earth essence has fused with you. No matter. Now that the toxins are gone, I'll just drain every drop of your legendary blood. Ha ha ha. Don't resist, just die quickly. But as he grabbed him, the protagonist's hands clamped down like iron vices. With a sickening crack, he snapped the demon's arm and tossed him aside. Both were stunned by this monstrous strength. He had never trained a day in his life, yet fortune had smiled upon this former trash noble. The scripture's power amplified alongside the spirit's essence. Impossible! The demon screamed. That's the 1,000-year pill's aura. You've absorbed its raw power, but without a cultivation technique, you're just a vessel for 100 mad cows. You might have the strength of 10 masters, but you lack the refinement of a true martial arts legend. A rampaging bull is still no match for a tiger like me. The demon laughed, masking his growing desperation. Don't bother dreaming of the future, because you won't leave this cave alive. With a roar, the final clash began. Steel met flesh as they traded devastating blows. Relying on his newfound physical dominance, the hero seized his opening. With a brutal snap of the neck, the great demon's reign ended. Namgung awoke just as the dust settled. Seeing the corpse, she gasped in shock. Li Rongsan lied smoothly, claiming the demon had simply succumbed to agony. He knew the truth must remain hidden. The beast struggled all night before finally ending its own miserable life. When she asked about the spirit pill, he fed her another clever lie. I forced myself to vomit it all up. He realized that if the world knew his blood was now a divine elixir, every sect would hunt him down. While looting the demon, he discovered a shimmering treasure hidden beneath the rags. It was the legendary dragon scale armor. This relic of the demonic cult was a priceless defensive artifact. He donned the armor, feeling like he'd hit the jackpot. This trip was worth the danger, he whispered. But as he turned to leave, Namgung grabbed his sleeve. Her injuries were too severe to move. She urged him to go alone to the imperial examination before time ran out. There are only 5 days left. You must win your place in the capital. After a tense argument, he finally agreed. Leaving her food and a dagger for protection, our hero vanished into the woods to chase his destiny. Meanwhile, at the 𝒂𝒔𝒕 mansion, his father paced nervously. Reports said his son was lost in the treacherous mountains. The family debated rescue plans, fearing the 4th young master was already dead. Then, the Hangzhou examiner arrived with soldiers. The official marched in with an arrogant grin, demanding to see Lord Li Dongsan immediately. Tension filled the air. "Lord Li, stop worrying," he laughed. "I have come to solve all your problems with one stroke of the brush." The father, frantic for his son, nearly lost his temper. But the official finally revealed the imperial decree. "Everyone, kneel," he commanded. The room fell silent as the weight of the emperor's will descended upon them. Li Rongsan, of the Hangzhou district, has participated in the imperial scholars exam and claimed the top rank. Shockwaves rippled through the crowd. The trash, 4th son, was not only alive, but he was now the top scholar. The decree awarded the family 100 gold bars and 16 plots of prime land as a royal reward. "Congratulations, Lord Li. You have raised a genius who will lead our nation." The father stood frozen in disbelief. Just then, a rider thundered into the courtyard. It was 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕, a prominent grandson of the Namgung clan. He dismounted in a rush, bowing deeply to apologize for his sudden and unannounced arrival at the 𝒂𝒔𝒕 gates. The gears of fate were turning, and the world was finally noticing the rise of the strongest warrior. Urgent news arrived. "Dungrong and my sister are alive and have finally reached safety. After escaping that villain 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒔𝒕, they crossed the Yellow River and fled north. Dungrong is now racing toward Beijing for the imperial exam." My sister revealed his true heroism. He risked his life to shield her from 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒔𝒕. "Grandfather demands he visit us." Cheers for the 2 princes erupted. Suddenly, a voice boomed. "The 4th young master has returned." After a brief greeting, I went to rest. I had just met the powerful Vice Minister 𝒂𝒔𝒈. He was my father, Li Zhongsan's old friend. He was stunned by my hidden, brilliant talent. He feared my father might use me for power. Then came the blow. No official rank. The court was in total chaos. Through our talk, I saw the dark reality of imperial politics. Forced success is always bitter. I decided to return home and focus on our family business. I made one request: send a fast rider to announce my top scholar status to my clan. My family honors martial and literary achievements above all. I had to make my father proud. 𝒂𝒔𝒈 laughed heartily. "I cannot let a genius like you slip through my fingers. I have changed my mind. If you are determined, I will find a way to promote you. Man proposes, but heaven disposes. Right? Well, in this court, I am the one who rules. Remain a royal guard for now. Remember, I will surely bring you back to my side." While resting, a servant arrived. "4th young master, your father summons you to the main hall." I found the elders gathered. Father asked, "Are you rested? I have questions about your mission. But first, tell me, do you have any news regarding the young lady Namgung?" A cold sweat broke. Why ask about her now? I struggled to find the right words. Father continued, "Clan leader Namgung Yoren has sent us an invitation to their great villa. His status in the martial world is legendary. We must prepare grand gifts and choose an envoy." Chaos erupted instantly. Everyone shouted, claiming they were the only ones fit for the journey. They glared at each other, boasting of past deeds. I must see the Thunder Sword once. My uncle and the chief argued fiercely. Suddenly, my uncle slammed the table and roared, "You can see him at the wedding of Dungrong and Namgung So." I froze. "A wedding? Is this a misunderstanding?" I spoke up. "We should wait for the formal invitation first. To build lasting ties with the next generation, my brothers should also join the envoy." Father smiled. "Well done. You have earned a reward. Tell me, what do you desire?" Knowing I needed funds, I mentioned the chief examiner's visit. Father's eyes narrowed with interest. He handed me land deeds and gold. "You now have wealth. I have one more gift. I appoint you the Master of Trade Point 17. He handed me the ancient key. I hesitated. Only rain and bird droppings fall from the sky for free. This was a trap. Accepting meant reporting my every move, just like my brother's. It wouldn't truly be mine. I refused the key. My freedom was worth far more than a pre-managed trade post. You are more than just lucky, father remarked. You find your brothers quite pathetic, don't you? And you likely won't tell me how you'll spend that gold either, will you? He saw right through me. Fine, I will not pry. But, do you dare to bet? If I find your secret spending, you must submit to my rules and full audits. I agreed instantly. Before leaving, he added, resume your martial arts training tomorrow at dawn. I went to inspect my new territory. Using past life memories, I knew its hidden value. This land would soon become a legendary horse ranch. I had to act now. I told my aide to find an experienced, secretive rancher. Someone I could trust completely. I intend to buy this ranch back later. Find a man who keeps his mouth shut. The manager looked stunned. Are you truly planning to manage a ranch of this scale? I want to start a proxy business, he declared firmly. Specifically, focusing on trading high-quality young mares. Take this 100 gold. Handle everything yourself without needing to report every single detail back to me. Surprised, the man asked why him. Weren't you my mother's dear friend from her hometown? The young master replied. I know you've watched over me since her passing. Hearing this, the man finally agreed to help him. But didn't you say you wanted to be a famous escort leader at the Heavenly Dragon Bureau? He smirked. That's incomplete. I want to be a reputable and incredibly wealthy escort leader. Heh. Returning home, he asked his uncle to teach him internal arts, leaving the man absolutely stunned. What? You want internal arts? You? Who can barely walk straight without stumbling every 3 steps? You're still just a useless trash noble to everyone. Your reputation for laziness hasn't changed at all. Despite the insults, the uncle agreed to teach. However, he insisted on grueling physical training first. Carrying water up cliffs and running with heavy iron weights, the physical hell had finally begun. To the uncle's shock, the trash noble displayed overwhelming strength. How can this be possible? He shouted. After losing a bet and running 50 laps, the uncle finally taught him the heavenly rain scripture. Don't rush to hold a sword, his uncle warned. Focus on building internal power and your perception. He thought of his time-slowing ability. With this, he would never miss a single enemy movement. To dominate, he needed lightning-fast reflexes. He bid farewell and went to find Old Anne. He approached Old Anne, a beggar he often tipped. He knew this man was a hidden powerhouse. In his past life, this man was a legendary master. He treated the beggar to a massive feast. Please teach me your fist techniques, he requested, before revealing the beggar's secret identity from the north. You're the peerless master who killed a Kunlun disciple and escaped their pursuit, he said calmly. The beggar's aura exploded, crushing him. Who are you? He growled. The young master gasped for air. I saw strange Taoists in Beijing, he stuttered. They were searching for the man in this portrait. He showed a drawing made from his past memories. If you won't kill me, then do something. He finally pushed the words out. The master sighed, mentioning the deadly internal crushing method. It's a technique that looks harmless outside but shatters the internal organs instantly. Truly a terrifying art. On the surface, you look fine, but your heart and lungs turn to dust. It's a lethal strike. This is the peak of internal crushing power. You have masters at home, so why seek me? The young master used his silver tongue to win him over. The beggar prepared a finishing blow. The strike only pushed him back. He didn't fall. The master gasped. You're still awake? After more tests, the master finally smirked. I've been looking for a worthy disciple for so long. He began teaching the 10 hands of the 8, originally known as the 108 strikes. This secret art has passed through 9 generations. Now, it belongs to you and 2 others. The first lesson was the phantom dance footwork. The master produced a 1-meter-long rope. Hold one end and dodge, the master commanded. If you let go or get hit, it's over. The training was brutal. No matter how fast he moved, the master's fists found their mark. Covered in bruises, he threw the rope down. Let's see if you can dodge my punches. If I fail, I'll bring you fine wine every day. The master accepted the challenge instantly. Even using weapons and every trick he knew, he couldn't even graze the master's clothes. Exhausted, he collapsed in defeat. Your internal foundation is actually quite solid, the master noted. I've been climbing cliffs daily under my uncle 𝑽𝒍𝒊𝒐𝒓's strict guidance, he panted. The Mount Hang swordsman? His advice is sound. Continue that training until we meet again. And don't forget my wine. If you can't make it, just send the money instead. He reached for his pouch, but the master laughed. He had already stolen the money. Back at the bureau, a crisis was brewing. The no-con branch was facing serious trouble. The branch protected by the second young master was under threat. The peace was finally over. To end the Qianlong escort contract, he had two hurdles. First, the Nanjing merchants. This titan of commerce boasts staggering wealth. They currently own Hangzhou's most exquisite garden estate, known as Lehua Manor. This legendary site once served as the home of an imperial prince. Now, they want to ditch Qianlong and sign with us at Qianlong instead. This is a total bureau war. The fourth master plans to use this mission for absolute dominance. Aside from Dihua Garden, the top four estates are held by Feilong. Negotiation is first. The elders were meant to lead, while he acted as the trump card. But they nominated him. Since he devised the strategy, they claimed he understood it best. He couldn't refuse the responsibility. Great risk brings legendary glory. At Dihua Manor, he greeted Nojiran, the merchant leader. Upon hearing he was the fourth master, the leader scoffed at his supposedly insufficient status. He countered, "I know you're using Qianlong to lower Qianlong's extortionate protection fees. I may seem like a mere puppet, but I can still salvage this entire deal." The leader laughed. "Qianlong actually has someone who understands my game? Please, take a seat." He tried to squeeze the bureau, but the protagonist already had him by the throat. "I know the truth about Qianlong and Princess Jin," he analyzed, exposing the hidden weakness. "For 10 years, you've bled 300 gold pieces to them just to stay in favor. The Nanjing group lives or dies by Princess Jin's gaze." He then slid over a contract. "Fujian City's harvest seems quite bountiful this season, doesn't it?" The leader froze in terror. How do you know that? In his past life, he remembered their secret smuggling fleet. The Nanjing group ran a disguised operation that would eventually be caught for illegal trade. That crime violated national law, and the investigation would prove Princess Jin was the mastermind. Even Prince Jin was unaware he was aiding her. "I appeared the day you offered the bid. Fear not. Only I know this. A blade is most lethal when it remains sheathed. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to help. Just extend Qianlong for 10 days. In 10 days, I will ensure the royals lose all faith in the Qianlong Bureau forever." Using future memories, he knew the prince would be ambushed at the Duangthon riverbank. He moved his team there early. Unexpectedly, his uncle was once the prince's loyal comrade. The two reunited warmly. The uncle credited our hero for predicting the frozen river's path. Prince Jin was sharp. He scrutinized the young man, knowing no one acts without purpose. "I know why you've come. But Qianlong has ties to my wife. I cannot help." Knowing he must preserve the prince's dignity, our hero decided not to push further there. "We will follow your highness's decree. However, Qianlong is absent, and our carriages are ready. Allow Qianlong to escort you to Dihua Manor as a gesture of honor." Prince Jin agreed. On the road, our hero wondered how to sway the reclusive princess. Meanwhile, the young lady leaned against the window, looking bored. Suddenly, she focused on him. "Smart scholars aren't usually this handsome," she remarked. "Did you really pass the imperial examinations?" "A Qianlong master's son. What office do you want? Will you go to Beijing?" She leaned by the window, gloomy and bored. Then, she asked if smart scholars were ever handsome. "You passed the imperial exams, fourth master? Are you truly the son of the bureau leader? Which office do you want? Will you head to Beijing? Do you have a place to stay?" She grilled him like a census officer. But her final question left him completely speechless. "At the docks. Why were you staring at me so intently?" he stammered, mind racing. Suddenly, a herd of crazed bulls charged. "Protect the prince!" The guards roared, forming lines. Everyone formed a defensive line against the stampede. He took charge of guarding the carriage. Asterisk bulls? Asterisk, he thought. Asterisk. In my memory, it was assassins. Asterisk. Suddenly, an arrow flew at the lady. Seeing the threat, he shielded the target from the arrow. Protected by his hidden dragon-scale armor, the assassin fled. Uninjured but needing secrecy, he cleverly hid a money pouch in his robe before the crowd arrived. He pierced the pouch with the arrow to fake a wound. The prince was successfully deceived by his act. After the battle, the grateful prince clasped his hand, vowing never to forget this life-saving favor. Suddenly, the Golden Dragon Bureau arrived, led by their chief, the arrogant Golden Dragon Blade. Stunned by the carnage, the chief was confused until Prince Jin introduced everyone and explained the chaos. The princess suddenly erupted, berating Golden Dragonblade for his pathetic incompetence and delayed intelligence. Furious that her family almost perished, she refused to trust these useless guards any longer. She demanded the prince hand the security of Dihua Gardens to the Heavenly Dragon Bureau instead. Grateful for his life, the prince agreed instantly. Golden Dragonblade could only seethe in silent rage. The main character and his uncle shared a satisfied look, officially accepting the lucrative new mission. Elsewhere, two shadows conversed. "You failed?" one asked. "Yes," the other replied coldly. "No matter. Tell me about the one who interfered." Meanwhile, at the Heavenly Dragon Bureau, back home, they organized the garden's defense. The fourth young master claimed half the massive profits. Lacking his own team, he let his uncle's branch lead while he joined as an elite escort. He sought the combat pay, acting as a lead guard despite his secret power and wealth. His uncle warned him, "Your father's 3 wives are watching. Be careful. They always get their way." At the gardens, they brainstormed how to let the Countess explore Hangzhou safely without alerting assassins. The prince had promised her this winter trip, and he refused to break his word to her. The main character proposed a plan: rent his armor, use disguised guards, and give the Countess a makeover. Truly a greedy genius. He even charged a rental fee for his own legendary protective gear. The first steps were easy, but finding a master of disguise was the real challenge. Suddenly, a guest arrived, claiming to be an old friend from the capital wanting a meeting. The main character didn't recognize the visitor at first, until a familiar voice introduced themselves as Yi Jinpong. It was Pong Jinyan, the alias of the legendary Lady Namgung, a master of disguise. He laughed, realizing heaven was on his side. "When did you arrive in Hangzhou?" he asked. They caught up, eventually heading to a tavern. With sweet words and wine, he recruited her. In bustling Hangzhou, the Countess was eager. Yi Jinpong gave him a playful, jealous glare. "Our leader knows this place best," she teased. He began guiding them through the city's famous sights. They ended at a dumpling shop he loved. But trouble arrived, the 3 excellents of Westlake. Known to the underworld as the 3 Dogs, these thugs refused to pay for their meal. The Countess, unable to stomach their bullying, scolded them, sparking an immediate and violent confrontation. As they attacked, mysterious armored guards intervened, revealing the Countess's identity to scare them off. But the fourth young master intervened, flashing his embroidered uniform guard token, ordering the guards to stand down. Chaos erupted. He soon realized these thugs were just a distraction to lure the main guards away. Was the prince the true target? With everyone pinned down, no one could send word back. Suddenly, a powerful youth entered, shouting for silence. "Stop! I have business to settle here." His overwhelming aura froze the room. "Until I find my sister, no one leaves this place." A foolish thug stepped forward, sneering. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Yves barked orders as a fierce melee erupted. Amidst the clashing steel, he realized they were being baited. They were merely stalling for time, likely signaling reinforcements from Lahua Garden. Was the prince their true target? With everyone pinned down, no one could deliver a warning. Suddenly, a mysterious youth stepped into the fray. "Hold it!" he thundered. "I have business to settle. I'm looking for my sister. Everyone, stop your fighting now." His domineering presence brought the world to a standstill. He continued, "Until I find her, no one leaves this place." "Who the hell do you think you are?" one thug barked, oblivious to the hidden power before him. "You talk too much," the villain hissed. "Seeing us means death." But before he could finish, a flash of steel, and his head rolled. "Not a fan of my methods? Let's chat later." The survivors froze in terror. Their leader tried to speak, but the youth cut him off. "I know who you are. The ghosts of Spirit Valley. Hiding under hats in daylight? You reek of corpses. Black Hand ghosts, right?" Meanwhile, Namgung tried to slip away unnoticed. "Where do you think you're going, sister?" he called. She turned, trembling. "It's you, brother?" The assassin gasped. "The blue dragon sword." Namgung 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕? 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕 simply pinched her cheek. "Why do you always cause trouble?" Namgung ignored him and turned to Jung Rong. "My brother will handle this. Hurry to the garden, now." Jung Rong didn't hesitate. He sprinted, passing charging guards. They were too fast to stop. He pushed on alone. He found the scene. King Jin captured. He eliminated a guard and took his place. Disguised as the driver, he steered the carriage away. Halfway there, he spoke softly. "The princess is safe, your highness. Rest easy." He lowered his mask. The king was stunned. "You? Why are you here?" "No time to explain. Hold on tight, we're heading west. The Heavenly Dragon Bureau will meet us there. But the sound of hooves drew closer. Pursuers were gaining. Zhengrong handed the reins to the king. Go, I'll hold them. The king protested. That old man is a master. Zhengrong bowed with deep respect. If I save you today, please grant me one small request. The king laughed loudly. A request scarier than assassins? Fine. My life is worth any price. Deal. Zhengrong grabbed an axe and leaped. He stood alone against the legendary assassin's path. Your men at the garden? Dead in a ditch by now. He taunted the old monster. The Namgung clan and Heavenly Dragon Masters are closing in. Your plan has failed. Die! The assassin roared, lunging forward, but the icy ground made him stumble. A trap! Furious, he swung spiked ice flails. Zhengrong danced through the air with new footwork. He wasn't just dodging, he was circling, leading the fool exactly where he needed him. Is running all you can do? The villain screamed. Zhengrong stopped and smirked. It's over. He slammed the axe down. The ice shattered in a perfect, deadly circle. The assassin plunged into the freezing depths. Zhengrong watched him beg for mercy. His father arrived just in time. Zhengrong reported the victory. The king is safe. Lady Jin spotted them through a telescope. The king and princess were finally out of danger. The capital shook from the news. King Jin prepared his return to Beijing immediately. Rumors spread of a secret ledger, one that could ruin the corrupt Prince Yi forever. Prince Yi is plotting with foreigners. Zhengrong realized a massive civil war was coming. His brother chimed in. Hey, Namgung, so is quite the beauty, isn't she? The brothers began bickering over her, while Zhengrong remained lost in deep thought. The news of the failed kidnapping sent shockwaves throughout the entire Hangzhou prefecture. People whispered about a ledger that could expose the villainous Prince Yi's dark secrets. He's even dealing with foreign enemies. Zhengrong knew a war for the throne began. Suddenly, his brother nudged him. Isn't Namgung so quite the beauty? She's stunning. Everyone turned to watch the three brothers bickering, while Zhengrong remained strangely silent. Soon, the king and his family emerged to say farewell. He walked toward Zhengrong. How old are you, lad? Still single? You'd make a fine son-in-law. He laughed heartily. Zhengrong bowed. I'll be back next year, the king promised. I'll need you again. Lady Jin invited him to Beijing, while the princess shyly handed him a secret pouch. Open it later, she whispered. Nearby, Namgung So watched, fuming like a jealous tiger. The predator wanted him whole, but failed. As the royals departed, Namgung Sok stepped forward with an invitation. Tuvong accepted, promising to visit soon. Before leaving, Namgung Sok turned his gaze toward our young hero. It's our second meeting. May I speak frankly? I need you to look after young Namgung for me. You two seem like close comrades. But she's a troublemaker, driven by an insatiable and dangerous curiosity. Her actions often outrun her thoughts. He agreed instantly, praising her sharp mind and unwavering spirit. Namgung Sok smiled, bidding them farewell. As they vanished, the first chapter of this legend came to a close. Show some love with a like and share. Your support fuels more epic stories just like this. Legendary.